Welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 of In This Era of Endless Night, where gods refuse to die, he gains the ability that executes the gods. You can watch the previous part on this channel. I put a link in the description below. Let's continue the story. The apartment was filled with an awkward atmosphere after Zhang Yu shared his fabricated story with Lu Yaoyao, creating tension and unease between them. Zhang found himself in an uncomfortable position as Lu Yaoyao held onto him, unsure of how to respond to the awkwardness that had settled between them. Lu Yaoyao looked at Zhang Yu and asked if his injuries were causing him any discomfort or pain, lightly poking his face. Zhang Yu reassured her that his injuries weren't causing him pain and suggested that she should go back to sleep. Lu Yaoyao simply gazed at Zhang Yu, keeping her thoughts and emotions unspoken for a moment. Afterward, Lu Yaoyao informed Zhang Yu that she intended to report the incident to Uncle Lai, providing details about him fighting people in the night. Zhang was surprised by Lu Yaoyao's unexpected statement. He earnestly tried to reassure her that he hadn't been involved in a fight and attempted to dissuade her from notifying Uncle Lai about the situation. He hoped to avoid any misunderstandings or unnecessary complications that might arise from her sharing the incident with his uncle. In an attempt to dissuade Lu Yaoyao from informing Uncle Lai, Zhang Yu acted as if he was hurt, hoping that his actions would make her reconsider. His sudden behavior took aback Lu Yaoyao and urgently asked about his well-being, concerned that he might have sustained injuries. As they sat together, Lu Yaoyao expressed her concern about Zhang Yu's injuries and advised him to seek proper treatment. However, Zhang Yu continued to resist, assuring her that he had access to effective medicines through Uncle Lai's connection with the Night Patrol office, which he believed were even more effective than hospital treatments. Lu Yaoyao interpreted Zhang Yu's intentions as him wanting her to help him apply the medicine. With a light-hearted tone, Zhang Yu thanked her in advance and jokingly referred to her as Dr. Lu, playfully acknowledging her role in taking care of his injuries. However, Zhang couldn't help but let out a cry of pain as Lu Yaoyao aggressively applied the medicine and wrapped his injuries with bandages. As a result, Zhang complained about Lu Yaoyao's treatment, telling her that she made him look like a puppet and exaggerated the use of bandages. Lu Yaoyao questioned Zhang Yu about whether he would continue to show off in the future, to which he assured her that he wouldn't involve her next time, for certain. Lu Yaoyao asked Zhang Yu if he was truly making a promise, and he quickly clarified that he wasn't swearing. Feeling frustrated with Zhang Yu's response, Lu Yaoyao playfully threatened to hurt him while mentioning that he could participate in fun activities. However, she also mentioned that if the situation seemed serious, he could simply observe and not get involved. She then asked Zhang Yu to repeat what he had said earlier about getting involved in fights. Zhang promptly reassured Lu Yaoyao that he would only observe and not actively participate in such situations. As Lu Yaoyao stood up, she informed Zhang Yu that she was leaving. In response, Zhang playfully teased her by asking if she wanted to spend the night because his bed was spacious. She then turned around and playfully made a funny expression at Lu Yaoyao. After spending some time together and assisting Zhang Yu with treating his wounds, Lu Yaoyao left his apartment. Zhang Yu found himself lying on the living room couch and lost in his contemplations. As he remained lost in thought, he reflected on the message he had received from the night watchman on the dark side. The message was a request to pass on information to the patrols of the Northern Watch Academy, a responsibility that weighed heavily on Zhang Yu's mind. After some time lost in thought, Zhang Yu suddenly recalled something important with a sense of urgency. He quickly got up from his seat as a realization dawned upon him. Zhang Yu realized that during their conversation on the dark side, the man had never actually mentioned his name to him. Even after spending time together while waiting for the rescue team, this detail had slipped his mind. After a period of contemplation, Zhang Yu decided to access the system. Upon accessing it, he was presented with detailed information about the alien creature he had encountered and defeated on the dark side. The system indicated that the creature was classified as a low-quality abyssal creature at the immediate first-order level. As a result of defeating this creature, Zhang Yu had acquired a new ability known as Shadow Strike and noticed an increase in his shadow points. While examining the information, Zhang Yu found himself wondering whether the system's manual included a record of his kills of mutant creatures. He pondered whether it was necessary to utilize the Shadow Devour ability for the system to acknowledge and record the killing of a mutant creature, or if simply defeating the mutant alone was sufficient for it to be registered in the system's records. Zhang Yu focused his attention on the system, searching for additional information and insights that could shed light on the information he was trying to uncover. The system presented him with a tutorial on how to utilize the Shadow Assault ability, prompting him to give it a try and experiment with his newly acquired skill. Feeling motivated and ready to warm up, Jongyu got up from his seat. With a hint of amusement, he decided to give the new Shadow Assault skill a try. He raised his hand and made a few exaggerated gestures, attempting to activate the skill in a somewhat lighthearted manner. All the while, he wondered what kind of effect it might have. However, to his disappointment, he noticed that nothing was happening as he tried to activate the new skill with his gestures and stances. Frustration grew within Jongyu as he realized that the skill wasn't working at all. He began to question the effectiveness of the skill and wondered if the system was playing a trick on him. Taking a moment to contemplate the situation, Jongyu realized that the skill might not have worked because there was no target present for it to activate upon. Deciding to give it another try later, he settled back onto the sofa, thinking that he would attempt the skill again when the opportunity arose. Jongyu proceeded to click on the system once more, searching for other information and details. The system displayed Jongyu's personal information, indicating that his attribute was associated with shadows and his role was that of a rogue. It explained that his proficiency in eliminating threats from the shadows made him a natural assassin adept at moving silently and striking from the cover of darkness. Confused, Jongyu stared at the system and wondered how it managed to alter all the game lines. He contemplated that the phrase should have been, hunting in the light, rather than, hunting in the darkness. The system provided Jongyu with some important information. His shadow had changed, and he could now control it in a new way. By blending his shadow with his own body, he could transform into a special version of himself with unique abilities. This discovery left Jongyu feeling surprised and thought, it's a new skill again. While reviewing the tutorial for using the skill, Jongyu's face lit up with satisfaction and joy. He couldn't help but feel pleased and excited, thinking to himself that this newfound ability was like having a cheat code that granted him incredible powers. Upon reading the instructions, Jongyu's attention was drawn to the information below, which seemed a bit confusing and nonsensical to him. It stated that his health points would decrease by 99 if he were beheaded, but he wouldn't die. Jongyu found it quite baffling and thought to himself that it seemed rather nonsensical, and he would rather just meet a quick death. Putting aside his complaints, Jongyu resolved to give the new skill a shot. He commanded his shadow to emerge and eagerly attempted to activate the ability. Upon his command, his shadow swiftly emerged and fully manifested right in front of Jongyu. With a simple hand gesture, Jongyu attempted to communicate his intention to the shadow, hoping that it would understand and follow his lead. Responding to Jongyu's gesture, the shadow promptly moved in sync with him, extending a finger to touch his finger. Upon contact, Jongyu's shadow seemed to gradually dissolve, almost as if it were attempting to merge with him. Much to his surprise, Jongyu hadn't anticipated the skill working on his first attempt, and he watched in amazement as his shadow began to seamlessly integrate with his form. The merging process continued, with the shadow slowly enveloping him inch by inch, until it was almost on the verge of completely covering his entire body. After a while of merging, Jongyu found himself fully merged with his shadow, and he felt a unique sensation coursing through his entire being. With the merging procedure now finished, Jongyu found himself pleasantly surprised by the captivating nature of the transformation. He directed his gaze towards his altered form, taking in all the changes that had taken place before his eyes. Jongyu took cautious, deliberate breaths, making an effort to execute a specific action. He proceeded to move around, testing out the newly acquired ability to know its effectiveness. Using his newfound ability, Jongyu moved around his apartment with remarkable speed, his form shifting and gliding effortlessly as he utilized his shadow form. As Jongyu tested out his enhanced speed in his apartment, everything around him turned into a chaotic mess, a result of his rapid movements and the effects of his newfound abilities. Jongyu decided to conduct further experiments. Amazed by the capabilities he now possessed, he was curious about the extent of his newfound strength. With determination, Jongyu set out to test the limits of his newly acquired abilities and the extent of his defensive powers. He deliberately directed his transformed self towards an object weighing 100 kilograms, wondering if his enhanced shadow form could withstand the impact. With a satisfied grin, Jongyu couldn't help but chuckle, thoroughly pleased with the impressive performance of his shadow form and the incredible abilities it granted him. However, amid his active experimentation, a voice from a lower floor expressed annoyance at the noise and requested that he lower the volume. After thoroughly testing his newfound ability, Zhang decided to deactivate his shadow form and return to his original state. Curiosity piqued by the button labeled, "Can be activated again," he turned his attention back to the system. As he pressed the button, the system unveiled the meaning behind it. It revealed that his current control over the shadow form was only partial, and the full awakening of the position was yet to be achieved. Activating it would unlock the position's full potential and grant him exclusive access to its branch abilities, while others would be unable to awaken any abilities under the same position. After conveying this crucial information, the system posed a direct question to Zhang Yu, asking if he indeed wished to activate it. The system also emphasized that risks on certain occasions could transform into valuable opportunities. Zhang Yu pondered over the system's words and concluded that it might indeed be a favorable idea. Staring at the "yes" and "no" buttons, he contemplated the fact that risks were highlighted in red, making him hesitate to choose "yes." Yet, he couldn't ignore the fact that risks often came hand in hand with rewards. In a moment of unintentional action, Zhang Yu's finger mistakenly pressed the "yes" button, leaving him slightly startled by the unexpected choice he had just made. Suddenly, a black entity surrounded him, causing him to be taken aback by its unexpected appearance. When the sudden black entity, a shadowy presence, surrounded and enclosed him, causing a feeling of being completely consumed by its darkness. A radiant and conspicuous light emanated from within his apartment, attracting attention and illuminating his surroundings. Zhang Yu could feel his form changing, adding to the mystique of the situation. The system delivered a message to him, emphasizing the importance of excelling in hunting, warning that failure to do so could lead to his downfall. It declared him inherently a hunter, highlighting that his attacks would undoubtedly inflict damage. Zhang Yu's appearance went through a significant change, resembling one of the extraordinary beings originating from the dark side. The system provided him with additional information and advice on effectively utilizing his newfound power. It also informed him that even gods would struggle to escape from his abilities. After reverting to his original form, Zhang Yu found himself contemplating the system's statement about his attacks being capable of causing damage even to gods. Lost in thought, he was suddenly alerted by a light that appeared in his left eye, likely a signal from the system. The system informed him that after activating the shadow form, his execution ability would be enhanced, reducing the required health threshold for executing attacks. It added that when the target's health reaches a critical level, their health bar would turn crimson, and Zhang Yu would be able to identify the fatal spot on the target. By directing his attack towards the pinpointed fatal spot, he could initiate an execution and fully eliminate the target. The amount of health required for this move depended on various factors, including the strength, abilities, and positions of both parties involved in the encounter. Absorbing all this information, Zhang Yu stood in contemplative silence, gazing at the system's interface before him. As the system explained the concept of the fatal point, a memory sparked in Zhang Yu's mind, recalling an encounter with an alien on the dark side whose appearance had a red spot resembling the one described by the system. This realization left Zhang Yu pondering whether his previous encounter was linked to this new knowledge. While contemplating the information provided by the system, Zhang Yu found himself deep in thought, carefully considering the concept of absolute damage combined with execution. A smile of light amusement spread across his face as he contemplated the skills he now possessed and how he could effectively use them to combat the monsters he encountered. Overflowing with happiness and a surge of excitement, Zhang Yu enthusiastically raised his hand high, glorifying the feeling of being invincible and full of confidence. Amidst his joyful celebration, Zhang Yu paused for a brief moment, his attention diverted by a sudden recollection that popped into his mind. He decided to remove all the bandages that were previously wrapped around his body. Upon carefully examining his body after removing the bandages, Zhang Yu couldn't help but find it peculiar that there were no apparent negative effects or risks, leaving him in a state of wonder. It seemed that nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. Gently touching his wounds, Zhang Yu was surprised to discover that they had mostly healed already. He couldn't help but wonder if the medicine he had used could be responsible for such a speedy recovery. It seemed almost too quick to be true. Zhang Yu went as far as lightly pressing one of his wounds to confirm that it had indeed fully healed and that there was no lingering discomfort or pain. He examined the small pieces of skin he had removed and marveled at how activating the shadow form seemed to have significantly enhanced his healing ability, resulting in such rapid recovery. One of Lu Yaoyao's friends approached her and asked if she had seen Zhang Yu's recent social media post, which was shared yesterday. The friend questioned whether she believed the content of the post to be true or if it might be fake. Another mutual friend informed them that Jongyu had sent her a private message detailing an encounter with human traffickers. According to the message, he mentioned confronting the traffickers while wielding a knife and engaging in a fierce battle that spanned the entire street. Upon hearing this account, another friend in the group doubted whether Jongyu was actually injured during the incident and suggested that they should visit him to check on his well-being. Lu Yaoyao affirmed their friend's concerns and urged them not to take Jongyu's story seriously. She explained that he was simply exaggerating and that the truth was he had been chased by a dog, making his story more of a playful exaggeration than a genuinely dangerous encounter. Lu Yaoyao felt annoyed and frustrated by Jongyu's tendency to boast and exaggerate his stories. After contemplating for a while about whether they should visit Jongyu, they eventually decided to go and see him in person to verify the truth behind his post. Lu Yaoyao encouraged their friends who had decided to visit Jongyu to believe in what she said about him making up a story. As Lu Yaoyao prepared to open Jongyu's door, her friend became curious and asked how she obtained the keys to his apartment. Lu Yaoyao blushed slightly as she responded, admitting that she had obtained the keys from his uncle. As Lu Yaoyao entered the apartment and called out for Jongyu, she mentioned that their friends had come to visit him. While she was in the middle of calling out to him, a sudden shout echoed through the room, capturing their attention. Jongyu dropped to the floor, clutching his stomach in apparent distress as if he were experiencing intense pain. Jongyu, realizing that he had underestimated the sensitivity of his scabs. He realized that he shouldn't have tried to remove them so easily. Observing Jongyu's discomfort, Lu Yaoyao hurried over to him, expressing her concern about his well-being. Upon seeing his condition, she noticed that he had removed his bandages and questioned him about why he had taken them off. As Lu Yaoyao and Jongyu's friends observed the scene, they couldn't help but realize that Jongyu's social media post from yesterday might actually be true, given the current situation they were witnessing. Jongyu's friends quickly gathered around him, closely observing his transformed physique and even touching his body in awe. They were genuinely impressed by the sudden increase in his muscle mass and marveled at how his newfound physical appearance might have given him the confidence to confront the human traffickers he claimed to have encountered. Lu Yaoyao swiftly intervened, pulling her friends away from Jongyu and urging them to stop staring. She directed them to go sit in the living room. However, one of the girls even speculated to the others that they might be dating. Lu Yaoyao began tending to Jongyu's wounds, carefully applying medicine and bandages. Jongyu let out a sigh and expressed his discomfort, mentioning that his wounds were hurting. Lu Yaoyao playfully scolded him, telling him to stop complaining because she knew that the medicine she was applying shouldn't be causing him any pain. Sitting beside Jongyu on the bed, Lu Yaoyao wore a short skirt that caught his attention, particularly her beautiful legs, momentarily distracting him. While scolding Jongyu for his impulsive action of reopening his wound, Lu Yaoyao noticed him blushing slightly as his gaze unintentionally wandered to her exposed leg. Jongyu's gaze remained fixed on Lu Yaoyao's legs, seemingly lost in his thoughts and even unknowingly letting a bit of saliva escape from his mouth. On the contrary, Lu Yaoyao sat there quietly, thinking that Jongyu was an idiot and a pervert. With a light-hearted tone, she jokingly poked fun at Jongyu's perceived perverted tendencies, playfully suggesting that someone like Xiao Peng would be more suitable to apply the medicine. However, Jongyu promptly refused the idea, stating that Xiao Peng's lack of skill and clumsiness wouldn't be the right choice for such a task. Observing Jongyu closely, Lu Yaoyao maintained a steady gaze on him, seemingly intrigued by his response and perhaps trying to read more into his personality. She playfully pinched Jongyu's cheek and teasingly remarked that his behavior might be a result of Uncle Lee not taking care of him properly for a long time. She mused that no matter how much care and attention Jongyu received from her, it might not make a significant change in his personality, hinting at his innate traits. Curiously, Lu Yaoyao leaned in closer to Jongyu and inquired about his activities from the previous day. She teasingly questioned whether he truly engaged in a robbery as he had previously claimed. With a sincere expression on his face, Jongyu looked directly at Lu Yaoyao and earnestly conveyed that he was not fabricating a story. He emphasized that he felt compelled to stand up for justice, even if it meant putting himself in risky situations. As Lu Yaoyao expressed her feelings and accused Jongyu of being dishonest, he found himself in a dilemma. He realized that revealing the actual truth might not convince her, and he felt trapped between wanting to share the reality of the situation and fearing her disbelief. In an attempt to divert the conversation, Jongyu shifted the focus to Lu Yaoyao's father's schedule, curious about the timing. He asked when her father would return home. Lu Yaoyao responded that her father hadn't returned yet and inquired about Zhongyu's reason for asking. Zhongyu brought up the topic of night patrol, mentioning how demanding and challenging the job could be. He discussed the long working hours during the day and the additional overtime required at night. He also acknowledged the risks associated with being a night patrol officer, highlighting the potential dangers that come with the job. After Zhongyu expressed his thoughts, Lu Yaoyao remained silent, processing his words and perhaps considering their implications. Zhongyu couldn't help but notice the change in her expression and couldn't help but think that she must often feel concern for her father given the risky nature of his night patrol work, where he has to be on guard during the night and potentially face dangerous situations. Zhongyu's thoughts wandered as he reflected on the reality that only a few individuals engaged in night patrols could enjoy a peaceful existence. He recalled the challenges faced by Lu Yaoyao's father, who had lost an arm, as well as the tragic fate of Lenmo, who had passed away at a young age. Even formidable individuals like Uncle Lu, Zhongyu realized, had experienced grave injuries that had a lasting impact on their abilities. These injuries had hindered their potential for further advancement in their lifetime. As the conversation shifted to the topic of night patrol duties, Lu Yaoyao posed a question to Zhongyu. She inquired whether he would consider joining the night patrol if he successfully passed the martial arts exam. With a concerned expression, Lu Yaoyao fixed her gaze on Zhongyu, waiting for his response to her question. Caught in a moment of uncertainty, Zhongyu struggled to come up with a swift response to Lu Yaoyao's inquiry. His mind was torn between the possibility of joining the night patrol after passing the martial arts exam and his lingering doubts about the challenges and risks associated with such a decision. Lu Yaoyao's expression turned puzzled as she listened to Zhongyu's uncertain response. His response that he wasn't sure whether he would choose to join the night patrol after passing the martial arts exam left her wondering about his intentions and plans. Zhongyu lightened the mood by adding a playful joke, mentioning that he might consider joining the night patrol due to the presence of beautiful girls. Lu Yaoyao's mood shifted to irritation, and she expressed her annoyance by pinching Zhongyu, telling him to stop talking because he was irritated. Their friends who were waiting outside the bedroom were able to catch snippets of the argument between Lu Yaoyao and Zhongyu. As they exchanged teasing remarks, their two friends, who had been patiently waiting in the living room, exchanged puzzled glances as they couldn't quite figure out the nature of the argument between Lu and Zhongyu in the bedroom. Zhongyu and Lu Yaoyao eventually went outside to join their friends in the living room. With a friendly smile, Zhongyu approached their friends and engaged in a conversation, asking them how they were doing and if everything was going well with them. Seeing Zhongyu's appearance, their friends were concerned about his injuries and asked him about what had happened the previous day, expressing their worry and inquiring if he was all right. Observing Zhongyu's injuries, their friends couldn't help but notice the red patches on his skin and humorously likened his appearance to that of a strawberry. They playfully speculated that Lu Yaoyao might have been responsible for his current state. Zhongyu walked over to the comfortable sofa and gestured to his friends to take a seat beside him. With a reassuring smile, he tried to ease their concerns by saying that they needn't worry too much about his injuries. Zhongyu launched into his creative storytelling to entertain his friends. While Zhongyu was telling his story, Lu Yaoyao observed him with a pissed expression, thinking that he was once again showing off and boasting about his bravery. Lu Yaoyao intervened and called him, stating that she was planning to head to the supermarket. She inquired whether she should discard the torn clothes, implying that she was considering throwing them away. Zhongyu swiftly and decisively answered Lu Yaoyao's question, telling her to promptly discard the torn clothing without any hesitation. Upon realizing that Lu Yaoyao was addressing the matter of his torn clothing, Zhongyu finally diverted his attention from their friends and turned his gaze toward her. Suddenly, he rushed towards Lu Yaoyao and shouted, urgently requesting her to hold on for a moment because he had an important item he needed to retrieve from his clothing. Lu Yaoyao was taken aback and surprised by his swift reaction. As Zhongyu attempted to retrieve the item from his clothes, it suddenly slipped and fell to the ground, resulting in a moment of awkward silence between the two of them. A napkin unexpectedly tumbled to the floor. With an irritated expression, her eyes narrowing as she questioned him about the strange presence of a napkin. Zhongyu explained to Lu Yaoyao that he had been aware of his stomachache from yesterday, so while he was at the supermarket, he thoughtfully picked up a bag for her and also grabbed some napkins in case she needed them. Observing the interaction between Zhongyu and Lu Yaoyao, their friends perceived their actions as something typical of couples who share strong emotional bonds. One of their female friends even thought that the adorable picture of Zhangyu and Lu Yaoyao should be shared with their classmates. Zhangyu reached down and picked up the napkin from the ground, handing it to Lu Yaoyao kindly, suggesting that she should keep it handy whenever she might need it. Lu Yaoyao tightly clenched the napkin in her hand, her anger evident from her reaction. Blushing with a mix of shyness and anger, Lu Yaoyao expressed her embarrassment to Zhangyu about his gesture of buying her napkins, especially with their friends present. She firmly told him that she didn't need them. Lu Yaoyao tossed the napkin back to Zhangyu, hitting him in the head with it. Zhangyu playfully voiced his complaint. He asked Lu Yaoyao why she appeared to be unexpectedly upset over his simple action of offering her a napkin. Their friends bid them goodbye as they continued to argue. They advised Zhangyu to stay strong as he was about to experience a long argument with Lu Yaoyao. As they were leaving, their friends told Zhangyu and Lu Yaoyao that they believed in both of them. Once Zhangyu's friends and Lu Yaoyao had finally left his apartment, he experienced a deep sense of relief. He felt relief because he knew that now he wouldn't be interrupted or bothered by anyone while he was in the process of trying out his new skill. Zhangyu acted quickly by summoning his shadow once again. Upon summoning his shadow, a dark circle began to form around Zhangyu. This circle of darkness was visible, highlighting the change that was occurring. Once he had successfully summoned his shadow, Zhangyu proceeded to activate the Dark Shadow skill. This skill allowed him to merge with his shadow, becoming one with it. He was eager to put his freshly acquired skill to the test and embark on a series of enjoyable exercises. A distinct aura, signaling an impending change, had enveloped Zhangyu, giving off the feeling that something transformative was about to happen. Positioned directly below him, his shadow mirrored his stance with utmost precision, demonstrating a readiness to unite with him as a single entity. Upon opening his eyes, Zhangyu found himself enveloped in darkness, seamlessly united with his shadow. Even though the place he was in was expected to be polluted and uncomfortable, he felt at ease within the dark environment. He thanked this newfound comfort to his shadow form, which seemed to be shielding him from the pollution. Zhangyu felt a feeling that was similar to what a person might experience if they had been living in an area with a lot of pollution from factories and industries for a very long time. Once he had transformed into his shadow form, Zhangyu realized that his health points had increased to 10%, which was a positive outcome. Furthermore, he noticed that his stomach was no longer in pain, providing him with a sense of relief. Getting ready to begin his exercises within the realm of darkness, Zhangyu reached out and gently touched the ground beneath him with determination. Lowering himself to the ground, Zhangyu aimed to create a powerful impact as he landed. He decisively pressed his hand onto the floor, applying a considerable amount of force. Zhangyu pushed himself upwards from the ground with determination. As a result of the force he exerted, he found himself gradually rising higher into the air, propelled by the impactful energy he had generated. However, unable to control, Zhangyu lost control and descended, eventually falling back to the ground. Quickly rising to his feet, Zhangyu felt the sensation of boundless strength coursing through his body, fueling his enthusiasm and energy. He began performing push-ups with great intensity. His heightened excitement and energy drove him to complete an impressive set of 104 push-ups. As Zhangyu continued to engage in exaggerated exercises, the system suddenly alerted him that he had activated the dark form and entered the shadow layer. This revelation caused his shadow form to undergo a significant enhancement, with visible changes taking place right before his eyes. During his exercise session, Zhangyu's shadow form began to transform due to the activation of the Dark Devourer aspect. This activation led to a slight increase in his physical strength, resulting in observable changes in his shadow layer. The system provided Zhangyu with a comprehensive overview of his abilities, revealing a noticeable increase in his physical strength. With the gradual enhancement of his physical strength, Zhangyu found himself capable of effortlessly performing an easy 1,000 push-ups in a single go. Not feeling entirely content with the cramped indoor training space, Zhangyu reached a point where he decided that a change of scenery was good. With this thought in mind, he resolved to step outside and continue his exercise regimen in the open air. Zhangyu swiftly transported himself to the exterior of the dark side of the world, taking in his surroundings. Zhangyu couldn't help but wonder about the scenario if this were to happen in the real world. He pondered why there wouldn't be multiple individuals eager to step forward and become his disciples, considering the impressive abilities he had acquired. He then proceeded to grab hold of the steel bars on the playground, intending to engage in a workout session. Effortlessly maneuvering around the steel bars, He jokingly announced his intention to become the world champion in horizontal bar exercises. Meanwhile, back at the night patrol headquarters, the people present gathered together with purpose and anticipation toward the scheduled conference meeting. This assembly reflected their commitment to convene and discuss important matters. Upon their arrival, the group of individuals proceeded to report to their superior, conveying that the range of fluctuations within this layer of darkness was unusually extensive on this occasion. Furthermore, they observed that the oscillations being experienced were outside the norm, displaying an abnormal pattern. Additionally, the pollution levels had notably surged and expanded across the entire area. Some night patrol squads even discovered similar cracks in the northern, southern, and eastern regions. These fluctuations were highly abnormal compared to the typical distribution pattern depicted on the frontline distribution map. Moreover, these fluctuations were found to be most concentrated within residential areas, raising concerns about the potential impact on local inhabitants. Upon hearing the reports, Lu Yaoyao's father appeared visibly unsettled and concerned. In the conference room, the air grew gradually still, punctuated by the occasional exchange of serious glances and thoughtful expressions. The reason for their gathering was to collectively address the increasingly pressing threats that had been unfolding in their midst over the past few weeks. Commander Lu's expression turned more serious as he realized that the situation was getting increasingly difficult to manage. The frequency of unusual and unexpected events had risen significantly. In the span of just a few days, a total of 4 abnormal and unsettling events had transpired, each involving individuals who had seemingly been inexplicably drawn into some kind of ominous or mysterious force. Commander Lu also dedicated time to examining the circumstances surrounding the recent death of the night watchman. He understood that the frequency of these incidents could potentially escalate. Additionally, Commander Lu thought about the fact that abyssal fissures were even more dangerous than disturbances in the shadow layer. He knew that these fissures could cause more harm and trouble. He even considered comparing the monsters in the shadow layer to the abyssal fissures. In this particular scenario involving powerful and fearsome creatures, the entities that emerged from the abyssal fissures resembled the iconic creature known as Godzilla, known for its immense size and destructive capabilities. Amidst the serious atmosphere of the conference, a man's voice broke the silence, urging everyone to take a moment and find joy amid their discussions. A night watchman who had lost an arm intervened during the conference, expressing that the concerns being discussed were mere suspicions and that there was no need for everyone to panic or act as if a catastrophe was imminent. The man continued to speak, emphasizing that their organization had been gearing up for combat for an extended period, which meant they shouldn't overly concern themselves with the current situation. He reassured everyone that their preparations were in place to handle future scenarios effectively. All eyes were on him, and his words seemed to have a calming effect on everyone present. Commander Lu's expression softened into a smile, reflecting his appreciation for the reassuring words spoken by the man. The night watchmen visibly relaxed, and they exchanged smiles among themselves, their worries easing as they absorbed the encouraging words from the man. The man directed his fellow night watchmen to proceed with their reports, maintaining a sense of organization and focus within the conference. The man instructed the current speaker that once the report on all the incidents was completed, the conference would delve into discussing the list of night guards who had tragically lost their lives recently. Feeling the weight of discussions and responsibilities, Commander Lu took a brief moment to find solace in the quiet of his surroundings, gazing out from the vantage point of his building. Reaching into his pocket and retrieving a box of cigarettes. Calmly, he brought the lit cigarette to his lips as he stood there, gazing out at the city below. In Commander Lu's mind, the thought lingered that those causing trouble deliberately selected a time close to the new year to carry out their troublesome actions. Commander Lu's attention was abruptly diverted by something unusual catching his eye. As he directed his gaze toward the cigarette he was about to light, he realized that it wasn't a cigarette at all. Rather, it turned out to be a bundle of stick biscuits neatly arranged in the same packaging. Seeing the stick biscuits in place of his cigarettes, he immediately recognized that his daughter had once again replaced his cigarettes with these snacks, a playful act she had done before. A box of cigarettes was tossed toward him with precision. With lightning reflexes, he halted the box of cigarettes mid-air before it could make contact with him. His attention squarely fixed on the person who had casually thrown the box of cigarettes in his direction. The man who had lost an arm spoke up, his tone carrying a touch of lightness despite the seriousness of the situation. He urged Commander Lu not to always wear a stern expression, hinting that a bit of relaxation wouldn't hurt. Perhaps guessing that he might be in the mood for a smoke. Commander Lu calmly picked up the box from the ground. He declined the offer for a cigarette and instead enjoyed the stick biscuits his daughter had placed there. He appreciated the gesture but preferred to enjoy some stick biscuits that his daughter had placed instead. The man playfully shouted and joked with Commander Lu, asking if he was also concerned about getting lung cancer from smoking. Commander Lu firmly told the man to stop talking nonsense and get to the point. He knew that the man had been lingering around because he had something on his mind, so he urged him to speak up. The man paused momentarily, taking a puff from his cigarette before planning to speak. Upon hearing the man's message and understanding the nature of the proposal being raised once more, Commander Lu was noticeably surprised and taken aback. His face displayed a shade close to violet due to the shock and unexpectedness of the situation. After receiving this unexpected news and comprehending its implications, Commander Lu fell into a contemplative silence. When he heard about the situation, he seemed upset and wanted to know if the information was true or not. He asked the man if they were sure about what they heard. The man reminded Commander Lu that the information should have been sent to his computer as well, indicating that he should have already been aware of the details. In response to the man's reminder, Commander Lu swiftly proceeded to open his computer to check the emergency notification. As he opened his computer, he saw an emergency notification indicating that students in the second grade or higher in the exceptional supernatural abilities category were required to take the abilities test and select specialized exceptional abilities, unless under exceptional circumstances. While Commander Lu was reading the notification, the man inquired about his daughter's path and asked if he had already chosen her specialization. Commander Lu responded that he hadn't made a decision yet and would wait until after the abilities test. Commander Lu kindly reminded his comrade to broaden the conversation beyond their own families and proceeded to show interest in the younger male member of his comrade's family. Commander Lu began to doubt the honesty of his comrade's son and proceeded to inquire further about the young man's intentions. He asked whether the young man was leaning towards specializing in studying spiritual energies, delving into the realm of strange creatures, or focusing on physical superhuman abilities. Before responding to Commander Lu's question, the man took a puff from his cigarette. After releasing a puff of smoke, he responded to Commander Lu with a serious tone, stating that his son would not choose any of the options he mentioned earlier for specialization. Commander Lu initially assumed that the man wanted his son to focus on studying extraordinary human sciences. However, the man clarified that he intended for his son to pursue regular human sciences rather than the extraordinary sciences. Commander Lu expressed his thoughts to the man, stating that his statement seemed like a joke. He pointed out that it was too early for him to make such a claim about his son's abilities since they hadn't been tested yet. He considered the possibility that if his son did qualify for the test and passed it, he would be forced to select a specialized exceptional human science field. The man extinguished the light of his cigarette. Commander Lu's fellow night watchman companion mentioned that he had no intention of having his son undergo the test, which left Commander Lu feeling quite puzzled and curious about the reasons behind this decision. Commander Lu urged his comrade to communicate clearly, but the comrade simply brushed off the conversation and mentioned that he was going out for a walk, leaving Commander Lu to handle official matters at his own pace. As Commander Lu's comrade departed, a girl who was also a part of the headquarters staff entered and expressed her apologies for interrupting. However, Commander Lu promptly inquired about the reason for her visit. The girl approached Commander Lu and extended a document to him, explaining that she had just received a notification report from the Shadow Lair. Commander Lu swiftly took the document from the girl's hand and began examining its contents. His eyes scanned the report to quickly grasp the information it contained. The report provided a comprehensive overview of the recent activities in the Shadow Lair, focusing on a newly identified type of strange creature that had drawn the attention of the authorities over the past several days. The description of the creature in the report was highly detailed, depicting it as a respectful shadow. Its actions were characterized by intense and rigorous exercises. According to the report, the creature's physical appearance closely resembled a pitch-black shadow, blending seamlessly into its surroundings. The initial sighting of this entity took place within the Xingyu Residential Center's garden, where it was observed engaging in vigorous exercises. The report suggests that this creature might have accidentally entered the area. The report further notes that the shadow entity appeared to be not known to fatigue, displaying an enthusiastic dedication to exercising despite its rather eerie appearance. The shadow exhibited a low level of aggression, notably during an encounter when explorers cautiously approached the shadow. They were taken aback as the creature abruptly halted its exercise routine and extended a friendly greeting to them. The girl informed Commander Lu that the monitoring team had stumbled upon a peculiar being in the residential area. However, this entity didn't match any existing records in the database. Seeking his expertise, she had come to Commander Lu to seek his opinion on the matter. Upon careful examination of the detailed reports, Commander Lu was left in a state of confusion. He found himself deep in thought, contemplating its true nature and attempting to identify its identity from the available information. The moon was shining brightly, making everything look clear, but in the shadow lair, things were getting more polluted and dirtier. While holding his phone, Zhang Yu was capturing a video of a spider, and he enthusiastically shared with the viewers that the spider's body is packed with a bunch of proteins. What's intriguing is that it weighs quite a bit more than the same quantity of rice, showing how protein-dense it is. Zhang Yu, speaking into the recording, excitedly shared his insights about spider meat, noting that it's surprisingly tender and delicious with a high moisture content. He went on to explain that by applying intense heat, the spider's outer layer can be grilled, making it easier to get rid of the tiny hairs. Addressing the viewers, he emphasized that the taste is quite distinct. It doesn't quite resemble pork, beef, or lamb but has its unique flavor that's reminiscent of spider meat. With a satisfied smile, Zhang Yu reflected on the recording he had just made, realizing that there's a surprising number of people who find the snapshot from the shadow lair's scenery intriguing. He entertained the idea that when he shares the video of the spider he captured, it probably won't take long for the spider to gain fame on the internet due to its unique and captivating features. As Zhang Yu prepared to upload the video, he noticed a surge of content creators already producing content related to exceptional abilities. He couldn't help but ponder the fact that in the past, sharing such content with the public was not allowed. As Zhang Yu was busy looking at his phone and lost in his thoughts, he was startled by the sudden appearance of the Abyss system right in front of him. The unexpected presence of the Abyss system caught him completely off guard, causing him to feel surprised and taken aback by its sudden appearance. Zhang Yu's attention was immediately drawn to the notification displayed by the Abyss system. The message stated that if he failed to embark on a hunting mission, he would face dire consequences. The system's words were clear, urging him to embrace the role of a hunter and relish the act of hunting, all while aspiring to achieve a higher level that would make everyone tremble. Zhang Yu's frustration was evident as he expressed annoyance with the sudden appearance of the system. He couldn't help but wonder if the system had materialized solely to intimidate him with these ominous warnings. As he gazed at the system, he noticed something unexpectedly intriguing. When he glanced at the system, he was taken aback by the surprising revelation that his remaining lifespan had been reduced to a mere 100 hours. In the wake of this realization, he found himself contemplating the fact that he now had only 100 hours left to engage in hunting and ensure his survival. The system's display repeatedly revealed to Zhang Yu that his lifespan was now reduced to a mere 100 hours. As he absorbed this information, a sense of anxiety began to creep over him, and he even found himself turning slightly pale with a hint of blue. A sudden recollection surged through his mind as he remembered the caution he had encountered before opening the assassin website. It dawned on him that this situation must be the very risks they had been warning about, a realization that settled heavily in his thoughts. To regain his composure, Zhang Yu tried to ease his anxiety and avoid hastily jumping to conclusions. He reasoned with himself, understanding that there must be methods available to remedy the situation. He considered the warning he had encountered before accessing the assassin website, recalling the system's message that emphasized the necessity of going hunting to avoid death. Zhang Yu analyzed the situation and deduced that, based on the description provided, his role as a hunter meant he had to continue hunting to prolong his lifespan. Diligently reviewing the manual, Zhang Yu identified the crucial details that outlined his path forward. In deep contemplation, he recognized that the ultimate way to increase his lifespan resided in the act of hunting down and eliminating these unusual creatures that inhabited the world around him. He mulled over the intriguing notion that through relentless killing and an unyielding pursuit of these elusive creatures, he might even attain a state of immortality. However, he also felt confused when he read about the concept of existence in another form, even if his physical body were to disappear. As Zhang Yu pondered the potential positive outcomes of following the manual, he considered seeking assistance from Mr. Lai if he encountered a creature he couldn't defeat. Recalling the spider he had previously recorded, he devised a plan to eliminate it and gain more time. He decided to record himself battling the spider, believing that sharing these videos could help him gain popularity, despite the prohibition. With his mindset, Zhang Yu underwent a remarkable transformation, becoming a formidable hunter who seamlessly blended with the shadows. Equipped with his cell phone, he activated the live video function and began broadcasting the situation, revealing his identity to the viewers. The audience grew as people tuned in, some amused by the sight, while others expressed skepticism about the reality of what they were witnessing. Moving cautiously, Zhang Yu approached the spider, urging his viewers to remain quiet and not startle the creature. Holding an iron stick tightly, he prepared to launch an attack. Surprisingly, the spider seemed completely unaware of his presence, as if he was invisible to its senses. Undeterred, Zhang Yu remained focused and ready to strike. However, despite his attempts to draw the spider's attention, it continued its activities, oblivious to Zhang Yu's presence. His shadow form prevented him from being noticed, leaving him frustrated and determined to find a way to engage the spider in battle. Growing increasingly frustrated, Zhang Yu watched as the spider continued its movements without any awareness of his presence, despite being right beside it. He marveled at the effectiveness of his shadow form, which allowed him to remain undetected even in such proximity to the spider. Determined, he decided to utilize his assassination skills to identify the spider's vulnerabilities. With determination, Zhang Yu strategically positioned himself directly in front of the spider, meticulously scanning its form until he pinpointed its weak spot. With his target identified, he aimed his weapon at the vulnerable point and prepared to strike. A grin appeared on his face as he imagined the impact of his attack on the unsuspecting creature. Meanwhile, the spider had been going about its usual activities, pausing to appreciate the peacefulness of the shadow layer and the relative absence of powerful creatures. It had recently engaged in a confrontation with another member of its species, sustaining injuries but securing a satisfying meal. Now seeking rest and recovery, the spider was preparing to settle down when it suddenly sensed an attack coming its way. Caught off guard and astonished, the spider was surprised to find that the attacker was a young child, which was unexpected in this situation. Confused, the spider surveyed its surroundings, unable to visually detect the presence of the attacker but sensing their existence. Realizing the need for a more secure resting place, the spider swiftly changed its position, seeking a protected location in the shadow layer. However, before it could reach a safer spot, it was once again taken by surprise as another attack struck unexpectedly. The shadowy surroundings reverberated with the spider's piercing scream, as the excruciating pain from Zhang Yu's attack coursed through its body. Caught off guard by the unexpected assault, the spider emitted a high-pitched cry of distress, its legs scrambling in a futile attempt to regain balance as it tumbled to the ground. The solid iron stick had been thrust deep into its body, inflicting severe damage. Zhang Yu felt a rush of exhilaration as he sensed the impact of his strike resonating within him, as if his shadow points were being drawn out, pulsating with power. This led him to contemplate the idea of strategically targeting certain areas to fully harness his potential. Shedding a significant amount of the spider's blood, Zhang Yu readied himself for another attack against the weakened creature. However, just as Zhang Yu prepared to strike, the spider unexpectedly launched a counterattack, catching him off guard. In a sudden turn of events, Zhang Yu found himself on the receiving end of the spider's aggressive blow, forcefully pushing him to the ground. Despite the impact, he managed to maintain his composure and chuckled, reassuring himself that he felt no pain. Unable to see Zhang Yu, the spider attempted to locate him by launching attacks in various directions, targeting potential blind spots. Zhang Yu, concealed in his shadow form, skillfully maneuvered and evaded the monstrous strikes while planning his own counterattacks. Assessing the spider's condition, he felt a sense of satisfaction, knowing that his previous strike had accurately targeted a vital point, weakening the creature further. Formulating his next attack strategy against the now weakened spider, Zhang Yu summoned his shadow attack, undergoing a transformation that signaled his intent to deliver a more powerful strike. With swift and seamless movement, he seemingly vanished into thin air, only to reappear on the ground beneath the surface. From this hidden position, Zhang Yu maintained a keen awareness of the spider's movements above, concealed beneath the surface. Contemplating the capabilities of his shadow attack, Zhang Yu saw it as a stealthy technique, allowing him to navigate his adversary's defenses unharmed. Like a patient hunter in the forest, he bided his time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. In this moment, he realized that he would likely encounter various supernatural creatures in the future, each with their own unique traits and abilities. A smile formed on Zhang Yu's face as he embraced the notion that he had become a hunter, diligently tracking down and capturing his prey.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more content. Feel free to leave a comment down below sharing your thoughts or suggestions. If you want to stay updated on all our latest uploads, click the notification bell icon. And hey, why not check out some of our other videos popping up on the screen right now? If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by liking, sharing, and subscribing. It really means a lot. Peace.